threesomes and you don't like women is doing sexual acts against your will to please a man so that you can get your bags, your shoes, your designer pieces, or you can get your bills paid. You're not on the block. He's not a stranger, but it's sex work. Babes, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Dyme and we back at it again. If this is your first time here, welcome. Come on in and grab a seat. However, if you've been here before, then you pretty much already know the vibes because you're subscribed. You don't miss a beat with us over here. So I want to chat with y'all because there have been a couple of conversations going on in my vicinity, and I've been seeing a lot of people say a couple of things in regards to a few things, and I just want to provide my perspective and you know, my position on this particular topic. So let's do that. So let me share my position with you first and foremost so that you guys are clear on where I stand with this. But being someone who comes from that background, okay, I was a stay-at-home wife before I was a stay-at-home mom. And even when I did have my son, I still had a nanny. And it was my mother, but she was paid. So I still had space to do and be me and, you know, all the rest of that jazz while I explored my options for building my businesses and different things like that. And I will give more context maybe later a little on those things. But I want to be clear. I wouldn't recommend any woman to become a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home spouse or a stay-at-home wife or whatever, right? Unless you have enough money coming in consistently to carry your load. And when I say your load, meaning at least 6 months of finances for yourself. Or have consistent income coming in from your businesses or your passive income or the hobby that makes you money or whatever you want to call it. I would not recommend anyone be a stay-at-home anything and allow anyone else to take care of you and be responsible for your finances without you having a little something on tuck, or as my auntie would call it, a little kitty, for yourself in case of an emergency. That is my stance. And I know, you know, some people may agree with that, some people may not, but I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to share this with you so that any woman who might be aspiring to live that my man takes care of me life, for anyone who is looking for that glamour that is kind of positioned around that, I want everyone to be very clear on what comes along with that and why you need to be sure of everything, the full embodiment of what that actually means, and not just looking at it from the glamorous Instagram social media side, okay? Because that's what I'm going to do for you guys, because that's what this channel is about, because we're here for the good life, okay? So let's go. All right, so number one, the reason why you don't want to just blindly jump into a situation like this is because, and there's a reason why this is number one, is that number one, there is work for everything. You're not just going to get some rich man or some rich spouse or some rich person that's going to come in, want to take care of you, want to do all of these things for you, and they just be easy breezy, have everything that you want. You don't have to struggle or deal with anything in any way, or they're not asking you to put up with something that otherwise you wouldn't put up with. I hate to say it. I hope I don't sound ridiculous. Shout out to Kiki, but I gotta be real with you. Now, here's the thing. I am all about believing in the fairy tale. Honey, my whole life is geared to believing in the fairy tale. I am the fairy tale, okay? I'm the main character, and you guys should feel the same way. However, being realistic helps us to avoid pitfalls, and avoiding pitfalls saves us time, right? And to think that you're going to find someone that is willing to give you all of their monetary value and they also have every single thing in the other facets that you would be looking for, would be somewhat delusional. That's not the world we're living in. Ain't gonna say it can't happen. But please ask the women who are dealing with the rich men, if what I'm saying is far-fetched. Most of the time when you meet a rich man, or you meet some man that is willing to share his monetary value with you, his material assets with you, right? And you are not meeting him in that same way where you have those same things, and you have not met him in those circles where they are making that money and they are acquiring that wealth, they are going to be asking you to do something for them that only their money, their status, their affluence can buy them. And a lot of the time it's going to be patience. All people in general, women and men, have different proclivities, different interests, different vices, and different things that are on their dark side, right? And most people have to hide that because they can't find anyone to put up with that long term, whether it is in the beginning because they're putting on their representative to get you, or throughout because they don't feel like they have a lot of confidence about this particular thing, right? Well, with rich people, a lot of the time, if you do not have those same riches and they are offering something to you that most people do not have access to, they are expecting you to deal with whatever proclivities, whatever issues, whatever other shortcomings they have. If that means accepting cheating, if that means exploring a new kink, turning the other way to not wanting to do certain things for you, if that means control, if that means asserting their preference over yours, there's always going to be something on the flip side of that perk. To tell you any other thing, I would not be being honest with you. And that's why I also tell people so much, don't look at what other people have and envy them, because we don't know what they're going through to keep that lifestyle. We don't know what they're going through to uphold those things. So that's number one. Be clear. You're not going to meet some man that's willing to give you everything, all but the shirt on his back, including the shirt on his back, and they're not going to require anything from you. You're going to be required to do something. In those requirements, however, you're going to have to decide if that's something you're willing to do or not. If it's too expensive for you or not, because you are always paying a price for every single thing that you opt in on. Let's be clear. Okay? So that's just number one. Number two. And I wouldn't even say number two. I would just say a continuation of my thought process on this. I would just really say, you know, at the end of the day, you need to be making your own money, and you need to have your own profitable endeavors, whatever that is. Because without it, you surrender control and you surrender personal power. It's all fun and games when you got somebody, you know, paying your bills and zaddy this and my. It's all fun and dandy. It's all cupcakes and Range Rovers until something happens and they want you to look the other way, or something happens and you are exercising your throat chakra and you're telling them, hey, I don't like this and this will not work for me, or you're trying to bring up a topic about your needs and you're being pushed to the side or expected to accept something, and they know you don't have the resources that you would need in order to pick up and go if you are unhappy. It's all cupcakes and Range Rovers until that happens. But when that happens, it's going to keep happening. Why? Because you have given up your power to move freely, your power to assert yourself, your power to speak up in the way that you want to, whether it's good or bad. It's still your power. It's still your autonomy, right? Your decisions, what you want to do, how you feel. So just know, like, that is also something. Now, obviously, the good guys, the good people in general will never go for that. They will never say, yeah, because I'm taking care of you, you're going to do what I say. No, not outwardly anyway. But deep down inside, this is a power play. It's powerful to be able to come in and take somebody's problems away. It's powerful to come in and take a load off of someone. So if someone is exercising that power and they work hard to get that money, why would they just give you that power without getting anything out of the deal? Think about it. Just think about it. So that's another thing. Control too. You know, lots of people will start to assert control. Oh, I don't like this piece. We're not going to get this piece. I'm paying for it anyway. I work hard. You stay home. I'm not going to do it. That hasn't been an exact conversation that I've experienced, but it has been something that I've seen, heard, witnessed in other spaces with other people that have been in the same type of lifestyle that I lived, where you're a stay-at-home mom. Of course, this is not everyone, but there's always something somewhere that you will have to acquiesce a bit, or if you don't have to, you will feel as if you should, or you will have that pressure that you can't, or need to wait a little, or need to play it differently because you don't want to rock the boat with this person because you still want to be able to have your way financially. So there's that as well. And then you're also needing to think about being your own person. When you make your life only your home life, when you make your whole life about the life you have with your significant other or your spouse and your children or your child, then that is what your whole life will be. And fine, maybe this is your dream. That's okay. But if your partner has a whole life outside of you, eventually that may cause resentment, or that may cause them to become bored because, yeah, they know what they got at home, but they also know what else is out there and who else does this and what John at the job does and what Karen likes to do when she goes to Starbucks, what her drink order is, and work wives and work husbands or whatever else. It's important for women to have their own lives outside of the people that they take care of. And outside of the people that take care of them. And that's why it's important to have your own income streams. And that's why it's important for you to have your own life outside of these people, because hobbies are cool, but why not make it a hobby that you can make money from, so that you can ensure that not only you have a life outside of your family, because life is nuanced like that. There's so many different areas. There's so many different people. There's so many different opportunities. Why would you limit yourself to only what goes on within the walls of your home? To not only do that, but to boost your self-esteem. There are lots of stay-at-home moms that stay at home that are looking raggedy and feeling raggedy if they don't look raggedy, or maybe they feel and look raggedy, while their husbands or their caretakers or the head of the household is running around sharp in their suits with cologne on and living their best lives. And they come home and the people who are the heads of household don't even know what's going on. And even though you guys are sleeping in the same bed, you're polarized because you don't have that same level of self-esteem, because you don't get to see yourself in those spaces. You don't get to see yourself thriving or being challenged in a workforce or in something that you like or in something that interests you. And so you're not growing in that perspective, but you're growing as a parent. Maybe you're growing as a spouse, but you're not growing in the same ways that your spouse is. And so there's a disconnect. I want you guys to be clear about what you're getting yourself into, because it's not all bad. I'm not telling y'all don't be stay-at-home moms. Go ahead. But I'm telling you to be smart about how you handle those opportunities and be smart about how you handle your money. That's what I'm telling you. Because who giveth, taketh away. Okay? And so you don't want to be in any situations where you assert yourself, where you tell somebody, hey, it's not okay to do this to me, or hey, it's not okay, I won't accept this, or hey, it's not okay, when I called you at night, you were not where you told me you were, or whatever conversations you're having. And them saying, in so many words, go on, take your tail to bed if you want these bills paid. You don't want your self-esteem, your autonomy, your alignment in life to be challenged by someone being able to pull that string. You don't. You don't. And it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, how good the sex is that you're giving up, how you feel you're giving it up. It doesn't matter how clean you keep your house. It doesn't matter how educated you are. It doesn't matter how great you are in general, because at the end of the day, there are unfortunately so many people that come with something that your partner would also like. So it's important for you to have a life that you love outside of that partner, have money you can use outside of that partner, so that if it comes down to it, if you are full-blown unfulfilled and you no longer want parts, you can say, hey, it's been a blast, thanks, but I'm out of here, and mean it. That's another thing. Respect is, we all desire respect, and we all need to feel respected in order to feel like we are human, like we are seen, like we are valued, right? Sometimes, I'm not going to say all the time, sometimes when you are dealing with people, or you are being taken care of financially by someone other than yourself, people will not respect you in the same way. Prime example. Remember when you were small and you told your mom, I don't want this for dinner, I want McDonald's, right? And your mama or your grandmama or your auntie or whoever your caretaker was asked you, you got McDonald's money? I feel like if you're somebody of color, then you probably have heard that example. So I'm just going to throw that in there as a universal one. But it's like that. Yeah, sure, I see you. I know you hungry. I'm going to feed you, but I'm going to give you what I want. And I don't really care about what it is that you desire, because I'm paying for it. While this is not every man or every person that will take care of their spouse, it is a lot of them. So you have to be careful about handing over your respect to someone else. I remember when I first opted in to be a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, or whatever, I remember it being very hard for me to quit my job, because I was like, oh no, I like to be able to go and do and say and be how I please, and I don't want anybody to be in charge of me, right? And ultimately, I ended up making the decision because it meant a lot to my husband at the time, but I wasn't really comfortable with it, and I knew why. I ended up making the decision to go ahead and opt in to do that because, one, I agreed that my job wasn't the most fitting for someone who was starting a new life with someone. But then also because I had a little kitty. I had a little something on the hip just in case I needed to change directions, and so I felt more comfortable. But this is why I'm sharing this with you. I want you guys to know that these men or these women, because it's not just a man, they know what they are offering you. They know that it is no small feat to provide for just themselves, not just themselves, but for you as well. And then also probably a child or multiple children if you guys choose to go that route. They're not just going to let you just do whatever, be however, not have any level of expectations. No. And they're not going to be very happy when you slipping either. So if you think you're about to get a rich man that's going to pay all these bills and do all these things, unless he's like stupid, funky rich, where you guys have cleaners and staff in home and all the rest of these people and chefs and all the rest of that, please expect to make sure you are on point, because this is your job. You're being paid for something now. And that's another thing that really just came to me. When you are in those positions, you are blending your pleasure with your job, because now this is not a, oh, I clean for my man because I love him. I'm getting sexy for my man because I feel like it. I'm cooking his favorite meal because he loves this and I just can't wait to see the smile on his face. It's not that anymore. It's, I have to do this because I don't want nobody else to take my spot, because I want next month's Chanel bag, and if I don't do this, he might be tripping. Or I don't want to lose my spot because if I don't do this right, I'm scared he might cheat. And that might not be the case, but you feel where I'm going here. Or if I don't do this, he's going to be passive aggressive and make it seem like he's unhappy. And I'm going to have to figure out. You get the gist? So, please be educated, ladies. You have to make sure you're on point with the decisions that you're making, and make sure that you're on point with what will be expected of you. Because there are a lot of women in a lot of places that are not prostitutes. They're not on the block, but they are expected to do things that they do not like in order to keep men that keep them in their homes. I.e., threesomes, and you don't like women, is doing sexual acts against your will to please a man so that you can get your bags, your shoes, your designer pieces, or you can get your bills paid. You're not on the block. He's not a stranger, but it's sex work. Do you understand? Nothing is going to be given to you for free, especially not by no rich man that's working hard for his money and know that you need it. So it's imperative that you're making your own money, even if it's not as much as you're getting from being a stay-at-home mom or being a stay-at-home spouse. It still means something to you, and that person will know, your partner will know, that if need be, their spot isn't just covered because they have the money and they have the capital, but that they also will have to be able to show up for you in other ways that are not monetary. Okay? What do you guys think? Any of you stay-at-home moms, any of you aspiring to be a stay-at-home mom, what has your experience been? Share it with me in the comments. And yeah, I can't thank you guys enough for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.